guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be all about different conspiracy theories surrounding John Lennon's death. So John Lennon was a member of what is arguably the most famous band in the entire world, the Beatles. Sadly, John was assassinated by Mark David Chapman on December 8th, 1980 in Manhattan, New York. He was shot 4 times in the back outside of his New York City apartment that overlooks Central Park. Mark David Chapman has admitted to the murder of John Lennon, claiming that he did it to be somebody, aka to get fame and be famous, which is kind of a weird circumstance because why would you kill someone in order to get famous? Like, there are many things that I feel like you could do to get famous. Why kill someone when you know you're just gonna go to jail for the rest of your life? But we will get into why that doesn't even make sense in a bit. There have been many different conspiracy theories surrounding the real reason that John Lennon could have possibly been murdered, and that is what we're going to talk about today. The first conspiracy theory is that a book led to John Lennon's murder. Now, that kind of sounds crazy, but there actually is a lot of truth to this conspiracy theory, like genuine truth. So it's been kind of an urban legend that Mark David Chapman was inspired by the book Catcher in the Rye in killing John Lennon. Mark claimed multiple times that he loved the main character, Holden Caulfield, and believed that they were kindred spirits because they loved children, believed that people in power were phonies, and had a drawn to New York City. Mark claimed another reason he killed John Lennon was because he thought he had become a phony. Chapman even said he would pray for the demons to enter my body to give me the strength to pull that gun out so that he could rid the world of people like John Lennon. I know, imagine a book being somebody's like inspiration to kill someone. That freaks me out. Like, stuff like that literally freaks me out. And they say that with the Zodiac Killer as well. I did a whole video on the Zodiac Killer, but they say that like he was inspired by a book as well, and that creeps me out that people could get inspired over like a book or a video or a TV show. It's fucking terrifying. So the second conspiracy theory is more of like a conspiracy theory because it involves the government. So John Lennon was a very liberal person, he was very much an activist, and he spoke out about his political beliefs. So someone like John Lennon was not really somebody that the government particularly liked at this time, as the government was very conservative during this time period. A lot of people believed that celebrities like John Lennon had a lot of influence over younger people when they were voting, or in general as they were growing up, because they did have such a large fan base. I believe that still to this day, that celebrities do have somewhat power over political government in a sense of influencing their younger fans, which is not even necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that the government might be wary of. What's interesting about John Lennon is that he publicly believed that he was under government surveillance for a few years leading up to his death. He believed that he was 100% being watched by the government. So a lot of people thought that John Lennon, if anybody were to have the power to bring millions of people together to protest against Ronald Reagan and against just basically the US government at the time, people thought that definitely John Lennon would have the power to do so because of how many fans he had and how he was so much of an activist for political views and stuff like that, which could be a reason that the government wanted to get rid of John Lennon because, like I said before, people believe that he had a lot of power over younger people and over swaying people's votes and swaying people's opinions towards the direction that the government at the time did not want to be headed in. Something that's really interesting to know is that in December of 1975, John Lennon told an interviewer, "We knew we were being wiretapped. There were a hell of a lot of guys coming to fix the phones." So this obviously is once again more proof that John Lennon really did believe that he was being watched and that he believed his phones were tapped and that the government was watching him, which could obviously be something really suspicious. It kind of reminds me of the Brittany Murphy case, which is another video that I've done. And it's basically like the government was watching her too. She felt the same way and then she died very mysteriously. So that's pretty interesting to know. This information leads conspiracy theorists to believe that Mark Chapman was just a hitman for the government. An important piece of evidence to note is going back to Mark Chapman's claim that he killed John Lennon for the fame. But it makes even less sense because he pled guilty before he ever even had a huge trial. Now, if you were in it for the fame and the publicity and the media talking about you, why the hell wouldn't you go through what would have been such a huge trial? Why would you just plead guilty and go to jail? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Exactly. And that's something that I find very suspicious, because if he wanted all this fame, he would have definitely went through with the trial, because that would have brought him quite a lot of fame. The last conspiracy theory, and something that I find quite interesting, is the Illuminati. Duh. Obviously, I feel like the Illuminati is involved in a lot of conspiracy theory videos. Some people love it, some hate it. I find it interesting. It is a very popular conspiracy theory that the Illuminati created the Beatles. Now, it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but there actually is kind of a lot of evidence that supports that theory. And if you guys want me to do a whole video on why the Illuminati could have created the Beatles, then I will do that if you guys want it. I feel like it would just be too long in this video to talk about the different evidence, because there is quite a bit, I guess, of like evidence, you know, a lot of symbolism and stuff like that. However, the basic rundown of the theory is that the Illuminati created the Beatles in order to be able to control the young people of America or of the world using the power of music. So this could mean throughout song lyrics, and then pretty much anything that the Beatles did, they could be using towards their own agenda, which does make kind of a lot of sense. I feel like in a way, if like One Direction were to do that or something like that, they would be able to easily. Maybe it's like a lot of subliminal messages and stuff like that. On to like how it affects John Lennon is John Lennon eventually left the Beatles and went on to do his own solo career. If this theory were true about the Illuminati creating the Beatles, this would obviously upset the Illuminati in general, because one of their people that they like set to be in this band is now leaving and starting to make their own music. So this could also potentially give them a lot of fear that John would come out and say about the Illuminati and talk about the truth behind it in his new music or in interviews or in pretty much anything, and that could obviously blow their cover. But either way, it could be a reason for the Illuminati to want to get rid of John Lennon and once again use Mark David Chapman as a hitman. So either way, I kind of believe that somehow the government or someone else was in charge of John Lennon's murder. I don't think that like this random hitman just decided to kill him for the fame. Like, that to me doesn't add up necessarily, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, because I'm always posting really dope shit on there, and subscribe for new videos every single day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!